Holy rap man, Batman. Oh, it was so lame. Oh, jeez.
Shameful display!
Anyway, welcome to a Beastman versus Skaven match here. HeirofCarthage back. That's right, I'm back, folks. I wasn't kidnapped by Skaven or some other crazy demise. No, I was just working some really long days at work. I mean long. It was crazy. Still probably going to be working quite a bit, but hopefully I'll be back in the swing of battles. Ouch. What? That didn't hit? Wow. That Bray Shaman's one lucky beast. Hey, let's check it out. So we got a huge Skaven army here. Skaven slaves on the flanks, clan rats up the center, a couple of clan rat spears. There's some warp fire throwers. Against the beastmen, I think that's a pretty solid choice because there's a lot of unarmored units. Got a warp lightning cannon, a doom wheel, and a Grey Seer of ruin. Wow, that chariot. He's trying to hide in the woods, maybe? Can he actually do that? I don't think so. So the Beastman army is indeed hiding. You know, Beastmen gonna beast. Sometimes they take the beast paths, like through the woods here. Got some Ungor Spearherd with shields. Let's see what else he's got here. Bestigor. Quite a few Bestigor through the center. Rats are gonna live to regret that, probably. Some more Ungor with shields. We saw the Bray Shaman of Wild. And then we've got a Morgur the Shadow Gave. And a Gorbull. Can't go wrong with a Gorbull. Oh yeah. Look at these two. They look happy. Whatever you guys say. So let's check out this match. The Skaven player's gotta know something's up here. He moves his Rat Ogres over here and look, he's gonna get swarmed by Beastmen. Rat Ogres really need to just retreat rather than lose their disgusting lives here. Yeah, fighting spearmen in the woods. Definitely not where Rat Ogres want to be. But, I mean, where do these guys really want to be? I mean, they're like all sewn together and stitched together. I mean, it doesn't look like they're really enjoying life as it is. So maybe this is preferred. Such cool looking units. I love all the modeling work that Creative Assembly put into this game. It's really beautiful. Look at that. Skaven are going to rotate. And, ooh, man, that Bray Shaman took a beating. They summoned a Cygor. The Cygor is targeting just infantry. Slave spears, of all things. I think you'd at least target the clan rats up front. I would probably want to target these Deathglow bombardiers if they're visible, and I think they are. Same thing, warp fire throwers. The artillery didn't move with the army, though. It wanted to keep firing, so it's actually kind of exposed out here, as is the Grey Seer. See what happens. Beastmen coming out of the forest. And they're now going for a full frontal assault here. An assault on everything the Skaven hold dear. Cinematic! Woo! Warp fire. Is that kind of like the Skaven's way of like dumping the Gatorade all over the coach? Man. So that's the clash line. Look at the Doom Wheel tearing up all the Beastmen. Yeah, I think there was a terror out here, yep. Ooh, that Warp Lightning is going to be beautiful from the Skaven. Warp Lightning can be pretty damaging. Now, Bestigor are going to kill rats for days. The question is whether or not the Skaven can really capitalize on all these missile units and the terror that comes in from the Doom Wheel. Gorbull's now supporting the troops on this flank, and you can see the Bestigor are going to make fairly short work of them. The Bray Shaman comes in over here. He's getting hit by the warp fire. It needs to get into that, yeah, stay in that warp fire thrower. Shattered the Rat Ogres. That's a good call. Beastman looking to be in pretty good shape now because Skaven's not getting the number of kills it really needs to with these warp fire throwers. They're not really pressured by any fast movers on the flanks either. Some Death Runners just came out of the woods. I didn't catch these earlier, but they were hidden. They're coming up in a column formation. They are badly needed, but with that many Bestigor, yeah, I don't think so. I think that's gonna work out. Death Runner, yeah, it's so weird. They're going into like these column formations. Must be getting a weird click. Gorbull just bulldozed right through that column formation of Death Runners. Oh, and he does it again. No mercy from Gorbull. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's still pretty even on the matchup here. Ooh, that was a pretty nice lightning once again. Grey Seers racked up 26 kills off of lightning. Yeah, the Death Runners are getting absolutely owned. Part of the reason they get owned in a straight-up fight like this with certain units is because they don't have much armor themselves, and even though they sunder the armor of the enemy, a unit like Bestigor still has so much more armor. Like, so much more. Weapon strength's only 30, Bestigor is 40. So again, it makes a huge difference. The Summoned Cygor has 83 kills. I don't know if they're like very meaningful kills because the XP bar isn't growing, but maybe it doesn't grow on summoned units either. I don't know. So the Warp Lightning Cannon's gonna get silenced by Bestigor herds. And then all these Skaven units continue to come back from routing. They will certainly be annoying. Prey Shaman of Wild is just kind of having his way with these infantry momentarily, but if he gets slowed down for too long in these spears, he's not going to be loving life. Yeah, I mean, you can see the hit points start to strip off pretty quickly there. He's got to keep moving. Let's watch this Cygor. Yeah, ooh, man, that Doom Wheel just popped a shot at him. I love the Doom Wheel, it's such a cool unit. They had like a life-size Doom Wheel at Gamescom whenever I got to go. It was pretty sweet. Man, that was quite the trip. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to get to participate with MSI on some stuff again, too. I'm excited, because that was what Gamescom was. I got to go over there with MSI, and then happened to get to see Total War while I was there, too. So, 2 for 1. MSI reached out to me, so hopefully I got some cool stuff to announce to you all soon. I'll let you know. Let's check it out here. Just trying to enjoy some battles. Not really doing a whole lot of strategic breakdown right now because you all know what's going on, but just trying to enjoy some of the sweet cinematics. Man, it's been a couple days since I got to play Total War. I want to come back and enjoy it. Yeah, Skaven are toast. Skaven are toast. So they brought crap infantry against the Beastmen. That's gonna be tough. I mean, again, Skaven, you get a line of Bestigor thrown at you. You gotta have an answer. You definitely gotta have an answer. And most Skaven units are not a good answer to all the Bestigor. And then you get stuff like these Summoned Cygors that's just gonna make it tougher. So that Bray Shaman of Wild, man, he did some work. 2 Cygors and 82 kills. Yeah, that guy got the job done. These Warp Fire Throwers, cool unit, but Bestigor, once again, you bring the Bestigor, Warp Fire Throwers won't do much because they're too armored. Like these Summoned Chaos Spawn. What's funny though is that all the units for the Skaven are so ugly that, I mean, these Chaos Spawn would actually look pretty good by comparison. They look like Flood off a Halo. Man. Anyway, so this battle's pretty much going to wrap up here. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. There's not a whole lot else going on. Grey Seer did come back, but Skaven's going to chain route any moment here. I got another replay for you, of course, too. But yeah, check that one out. Bestigor for days, folks. Bestigor for days. The Skaven just did not bring an answer. And so you might be thinking, well, Air, what is the Skaven's answer to Bestigor? Well, definitely not clan rats. Definitely not clan rats. I like the kind of fun nature of the Skaven army. Again, Warpfire Throwers are a really cool unit. But, I mean, you put a little bit of armor on a unit, and the Warpfire Throwers don't do a whole lot. They're really good against low armor units. So if you have a very high suspicion your opponent's going to bring low armor units and a lot of them, again, these units probably need to be on the flank too, so that they can get some real damage done. Flaming damage, magical damage, so if there's a regenerating type of unit, again, does a lot. And then the it has this leadership debuff too. So they can be a good unit, but if you really want to kill a line of Bestigor, I mean, I would think that your best bet against what you expect to be a Beastman infantry heavy build would be the ridiculous Bell build with the rats. It's kind of a cheese build, but Screaming Bell, and then you'd want to do like a Plague Priest, a couple of these, put them all on Screaming Bell, and then you just crank down their spells, bring some token infantry, some rat ogres, and a doom wheel, and an all infantry army like what you saw. A mostly infantry army would get absolutely picked apart by this. That's really the best answer that the Skaven has. Unfortunately, it's kind of a cheese army, but if you'll have a non-cheese way that you would like to deal with that, let me know what you think. Alright, the next battle I want to show you is actually this one here. Dov plays, sent me one where he's going to play as Helmund Gorst up against the Dwarves. I figured this might be interesting. Vampires versus Dwarves is kind of an interesting matchup in my opinion in the first place. Vampires, back in the day, could certainly really torment the Dwarves. The Dwarves have gotten a decent number of buffs. I would say the Vampires could still give them fits in certain cases. But I like the matchup of Vampires versus Dwarves. It's kind of like big undead armies being held together by healing and all this other stuff versus the tanky, somewhat magic-resistant armies of the Dwarves. Look at Helmund Gorst here. He's going to heal stupid fast because of the different abilities that he has. And he's on this corpse cart. But there are a lot of armor-piercing missile units here. Well, I say a lot. Yeah, 3. So you got an organ gun and then the two Thunders, and the bats are just going to go straight for the organ gun. Kind of makes sense. Slayers should be able to bail it out. Ooh. These Varix Reavers. The solid charge there. Gonna do... Wow, look at the damage on the charge from those Reavers. They did take some damage in return, though. But still, they dealt it. They dealt it. Yeah, the bats are still taking fire. The knights with lances and barding over here, their charge was much less successful. Not sure exactly why, because I didn't catch that entire engagement. Front line of skeleton warriors, back line of sternsmen and graveguard, and some graveguard with great weapons. So there's a lot of armor-piercing infantry for the vampires here. They're going to be giving the dwarves some problems. Look at that, Varix Reavers again, just completely pinching the miners with blasting charges. Put a beating down on those guys. That charge is brutal on these Varix Reavers. It's not the highest in the game, but it's pretty darn good. You get some Invocation of Nehek over here. As these skeleton warriors and graveguard. Woo, fighting their way through. Trying to fight their way through the Dawi lines. Again, it only takes a few Dawi to hold out for a long time if you got the right unit. You got these graveguard with great weapons over here. Fighting up against Slayers, and it looks like some Longbeards, or Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. Yeah, the beard wasn't long enough. I should have caught that. Here's going to be a summoned graveguard. That's something that Helmund Gorst can do. And it can be quite the problem, because the graveguard's a fairly tanky unit. The Iron Breakers, though, ooh, they didn't throw their charges. They could have totally wrecked this unit with their charges. There they go. Are they going to do it? Yeah. I was getting ready to say. So they're going to throw their charges into this summoned graveguard, but that graveguard will be a nice unit to summon back there. Some Dragonback Slayers got behind the vampire lines. Ungrim is in the midst of this fighting, but he hasn't quite gotten to Helmund Gorst. Better watch out, there's a Thane and Ungrim around. He could get beat up pretty quick. There's a Necromancer here too. I wonder if he has Winds of Death. No Winds of Death. He's just boosting magic and he can summon. Yeah, so that summoned graveguard got beat up pretty bad, but it is disrupting these Thunderers quite well for now. And there's another graveguard behind enemy lines, another summoned graveguard. So both the graveguard summons now. That's going to give the dwarves a lot of trouble because their infantry it's doing okay, but it's not doing great here. This graveguard with great weapons have 90 kills. That's usually the problem with the Dawi army, is it's usually pretty small, and if you start forfeiting that number of kills to an enemy unit, you could be in bad shape. This Iron Breaker's still very healthy. The dwarf players not really engaged them a whole lot in combat. They've thrown their charges. Back here, the Norgrimling's Iron Breaker's holding out strong, but here we've got a break in the lines. Graveguard with great weapons and Graveguard and the Varix Reavers also breaking through, so the dwarves starting to lose their flanks here, and they're going to be in pretty bad shape. Dragonback Slayers are fighting the Sternsmen. If the Sternsmen turn around and fight that, I'm pretty sure they'll win. I don't think the Dragonback Slayers have any business in that fight. Kind of surprised he's not charging the guns with his cavalry, but he's going to chase away some of the routing units instead. It looks like he's trying to use the Sternsmen, was trying to use them to get to the guns. Still got the Iron Breakers, and Ungrim is getting a hold of Helmund Gorst. Gorst is taking a beating, but he's summoning up some zombies here. And the Necromancer's around, so he's still going to be healing very, very quickly. But he's going to run out of healing, too. So Helmut Gorst is in pretty bad shape. He really needs to get away from Ungram. Ungram has that bonus versus large. Fortunately, yeah, see, this is what makes Ungram difficult to use, is he can't get through all this infantry, so even simple units like zombies can hold him back. Helmut Gorst would be more than safe at this point. Just the Necromancer now needs to peel himself out of this fight and just keep himself close to the troops, because they'll be healing the troops. And that can make the vampires last an annoyingly long time in combat when they've got something like Helmut Gorst and a Necromancer around. But the Necromancer does not get away. And Ungram is going to finish him, I believe. See Ungram and the Thane in there pounding away at him, and he's gone. So the vampire's going to lose their Necromancer. So that's a little less healing now, and Ungram is really trying to push through all the zombies and get to Gorst, and Gorst is going to kind of slowly move away there. Slowly is the only way he does move. Look at these Grumbling Guard fighting near to the death there, until they took a charge from the Reavers. Man, the Reavers are a cool looking unit also. Now the vampires are just collapsing in on the Dawi. The Ironbreakers are really one of the last units here. But with these cavalry around and some infantry to keep them fixed, it's not going to work. Yeah, there's more Graveguard making their way in too. And I think there's some Graveguard with great weapons still around as well. Yeah, I can see him in the background there. Is that another zombie summon? Yeah. Or no, it's dance. It was a spell, I think. In any case, yeah, there goes the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. And the Thane is going to break, and then it just comes down to finishing off Ungram, who really isn't well suited for an infantry blob, other than the fact that he is unbreakable. So Ungram's going to get poked and prodded at by all the vampire units here, and eventually taken off the battlefield. Ungram is a cool unit. He does great anti-large, but he gets knocked around so easy, and he can't get through enemy infantry, so he's good in theory. Difficult to use in practice, I think is what you're going to run into with him, but a fun unit nonetheless. So thanks to Dov Plays for sending in a cool replay. You don't see a lot of people using Helmut Gorst. It's almost always Manfred or the Red Duke. So love seeing people try out those less common units. The dwarves are, you know, you could say that they're a less risky one to try it against because there's no dragons or anything to dive bomb them, but their artillery and their missiles are a real threat to a slow mover like Gorst. So it's still kind of gutsy, in my opinion, to make that pick. Love that the Reavers did some cool damage here. That was a neat unit. Look at these Ironbreakers. They racked up some kills regardless. And they still had most of their unit left. They just routed. It was a leadership thing by the end of all that. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the battles today. It feels good to be back. I got to get back into the swing of things. Work being so crazy, but yeah, I'm back. Videos are going to continue. Hang tight. I got some cool stuff coming for you later today. Well, I mean, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching it right when it releases, I got some stuff for you later today. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you soon.